Welcome to the August 19th, 2025 Planning Commission hearing. Please rise for the flag salute, the pledge of allegiance to the country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Media, do we have anybody here from the media? Nobody here from the media. And please make sure your cell phones are off and silenced and they don't pop on when we're going through the meeting. Announcement for Zoom attendees. Those joining tonight's meeting via Zoom will automatically be muted upon entry, and you will need to identify your full name if not already attached. If you wish to speak, please click on the raise your hand and feature located on the reaction icon on the bottom of your screen. Remember, commission members, please speak into your microphones. And first, a little bit of business is the meetings from June 17th, 2025. Has everybody had a chance to read them?
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
I move we accept the minutes as presented for the June 17th meeting. Second.
Commissioner Brock.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Mock. Yes. Commissioner Wilder. Yes. Commissioner Shaw.
Yes.
Chair Banducci.
Yes. Legislative hearing. This is file number 25S008. Mike Garrett. Comprehensive plan amendment from light industrial to high density residential and zone map change from an M1 light industrial to R3 multifamily residential on 7.88 acre property. I'm going to read the following statement. All person testifying shall be deemed parties to the application and must provide their name and full mailing address if they wish to be notified of the decision, continuances, appeals, and other procedural actions required by the code. Public testimony should be limited to those criteria and findings of fact or other city or state land use standards that the person testifying believes apply to a proposed land use action. Anyone wishing to be considered as a party in this matter must raise an issue in person or in writing with sufficient detail to the city zoning code, providing specific applicable criteria to the relied upon in making a decision. Those criteria are in the city staff report. According to the hearing body and parties to the hearing, an opportunity to respond to an issue includes appeal to the city council or land use board or to seek damages in circuit court due to conditions of approval. Now we open the hearing. Call declaration. This is for the board. Declaration for the board of any conflicts of interest, site visits, financial interest, any ex parte contacts, or personal bias in this matter. Ask for any challenges to the planning commission members who impartially in this manner.
So I'm going to enter into the staff exhibits 1 through 12 were listed on the staff report, but after the mailing of the staff report, we did get staff exhibit number 13 from Oregon Department of Transportation. saying that they agreed with the transportation impact analysis that was conducted. Here, all your goose.
Good for all for me, huh?
When you're done reading, pass them on.
Yeah.
And so while you're
Oh.
reading, I will,
Your report.
yep, I will go over the staff report. So the applicant, Mark Garrett, is requesting a comprehensive plan map amendment from light industrial to high density, along with a zone map change from light industrial to multifamily residential on a 7.88 acre property. This staff report contains concerns of a proposed plan of zoning, sorry. Current law requires planning commission and city council approval of any amendment to the Sutherland Comprehensive Plan and zoning maps. The property owners request a plan amendment zone change from the light industrial plan designation to a high density plan, together with a change from the current zoning from light industrial to multifamily residential on the subject property, to allow for future development of a workforce housing development. The subject property proposed for amendment is located directly off Oak Street, north of its intersection with West Central Avenue and south of West Sixth Avenue. The subject property is in an area of mixed residential, commercial, and industrial zone properties, and is described as tax lot 1000 in section 17CA, tax lot 300 in section 17CD, and tax lot 7800 in section 17DB, all within township 25 South, Range 5 West. The subject property is owned by the city of Sutherland, and the applicant is making this request on their behalf. During tonight's public hearing, the planning commission will accept public testimony and make a recommendation to city council on the application after the public hearing. As part of the hearing, the planning commission will review the applicant's request for compliance with the statewide planning goals, the general goals and policies of the Sutherland Comprehensive Plan, and the applicable criteria of the Sutherland Development Code, and adopt findings of fact. So after the hearing, like I said, you'll make a written recommendation to forward to city council in the form of the findings of fact document, which justifies its decision and recommendation. The council will consider the commission's recommendation and hold a public hearing and make a decision to grant, amend, or deny that request. So in the staff report, the comprehensive plan map amendment and zone change applications were filed with the city on June 25th, 2025. And deemed complete on July 10th. Department of Land Conservation, the notice of proposed amendment was electronically submitted to the DLCD on July 10th, 2025, which was at least 35 days prior to the first evidential public hearing, which is held this evening. Pursuant to sections 4.2.140.c and 4.2.150.d, notice of the public hearing was given to publication in the News Review on August 1st, 2025, which was at least 14 days prior to the date of this public hearing. Notice of the public hearing on an application for the comprehensive plan map amendment and zone map change before the planning commission was given in accordance with sections 4.2.140.c and 4.2.150d. Notice was sent to affected property owners of record within 100 feet of the subject property and service providers and governmental agencies on July 28th, 2025. Response to the notice, the only person that responded was Matthew Hogan with the Fair Housing Council of Oregon, stating that he would just like to review compliance of the staff report with goal 10, which is housing goal, statewide planning goal. At the mailing of the staff report, no other comments were received, and like I say, Oregon Department of Transportation did submit what we entered into staff exhibit 13 into the record. So you guys received the staff report last week, and I'm not going to read through the additional pages with the submittal of all the information complying with the statewide planning goals and policies. I'm going to skip to the city's recommendation or the conclusion. City staff recommends that planning commission forward a recommendation for approval to the Sutherland City Council of the requested comprehensive plan map amendment from light industrial to high density and zone map change from light industrial to multifamily residential on the subject 7.88 acre property. You do, based on the applicant's findings, the staff report and testimony and evidence during the public hearing, you as planning commission members can either move to one, close the public hearing and after deliberating to the matter, pass a motion to recommend to city council approval of the requested comprehensive plan map and zone map amendments on the subject 7.88 acre property. Or two, close the public hearing and after deliberating on the matter, pass a motion to recommend to city council approval of the requested comprehensive plan map and zone map amendments with specified conditions. Or three, pass a motion to continue the public hearing to a specified date and time. Or to close the public hearing and to leave the record open to a specified date and time for submittal of additional evidence and or rebuttal. Or number four, close the public hearing and after deliberating on the matter, pass a motion to recommend denial of the requested comprehensive plan map and zone map amendments on the grounds that the proposal does not satisfy the applicable approval criteria.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Call for the applicant's report. Mark, you're it.
Good evening, Chair Banducci and Commissioners. My name is Mark Garrett. My address is 12975 Tiller Trail Highway in Days Creek, Oregon. And I'm shown as the applicant in this matter as a representative for the city of Sutherland, who's the owner. I'm not going to go through the application in detail because the staff report pretty much assesses that application. I'd just like to touch briefly on a couple of items that are probably the most important parts of the request. That is number one, the citizen involvement part and the notice requirements, citizen participation. All of those T's and I's were crossed and dotted. The notice was provided to the LCD and to the surrounding neighbors, I think within 100 feet. And so opportunity was given for them to participate. Goal 10 is probably one of the most important, which is the housing goal. We did some analysis in the application document and subsequently included components of the housing needs analysis that the city had completed back in 2005, plus some updated numbers that came out of the economic needs analysis, demonstrating that there was a need for additional housing to cover the window, the 20-year horizon, to make sure that there was sufficient housing to accommodate the needs for the city of Sutherland and the surrounding economic development that's going on. And it's a really positive request as far as the location and the type of development that's being proposed. And you perhaps saw a copy of the development plan, the preliminary development plan, which was prepared by the engineer James Norrington, which shows the layout of the residential units that are being proposed. So it's going to be a really a nice development in that fashion. Also, goal 9 is probably important because it deals with the need for commercial and industrial lands. The economic needs analysis and the analysis of available industrial land show that there is sufficient industrial land to accommodate future need even after the conversion of this 7.88 acre parcel. And so that is consistent with the requirement of goal 9 to meet the needs for commercial and industrial development. Also, in goal 12, I won't spend much time on goal 11 because it's really public facilities. As you know, the services are all immediately available there around the site in terms of sewer, water, fire protection, police protection, and all of those things. Goal 12 is important because there's always concern by ODOT and of course the jurisdiction relative to the sufficiency of the traffic circulation in that area around the development. To that end, we retained the services of Kelly Sando, traffic engineer. She did a great job of analyzing the existing and background conditions of the transportation system and did the analysis based upon what the proposed development included, all the traffic that would be generated by that, That was fully coordinated with ODOT, who went through that and concurred with their assessment. I think we got a positive recommendation from ODOT in that matter. And so traffic has been addressed. And so all the rest of the development standards as far as the Sutherland's Development Code, economic needs analysis and all that was really focused upon the fact that we meet all of the statewide planning goals. And as such, is consistent with the development code and with all of the overall development criteria. So we would request that the commission give a favorable review and a positive recommendation to the city council. And I'd be happy to try and answer any questions, or perhaps could cooperate with staff to answer any questions that you might have regarding the project.
Any questions? Thank you, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Very enough.
Thank you.
Now we'll receive testimony of those in favor. Yeah, I have one slip up here with the name on it, but nothing yet, no other slips with names on them, so. Receive testimonies from those in opposition, and that would be Mr. Eder. Is that right?
This is Eder.
Yeah, please. And speak in the microphone and give your name and address.
Yes, sir. Thank
You
you.
got 3 minutes,
My name. How am I limited to 3 minutes, but he was not?
because he's presenting the whole thing so everybody can hear it.
Okay, so I live at 350 West Sixth Avenue. I'm at the corner of where you're proposing to build this. First of all, where's my city council? You are not my city council. Where are they? I'm surprised to see that I don't see our city council. I thought I was going to address our city council. So let's talk about the rezoning. You're talking about rezoning a piece of property that you're not even positive that the EPA is going to pass building on. It's putting the cart before the horse. Once again, we're putting the cart before the horse. Part of the reason that I purchased the property where I did is because of how it was built and it had the wetlands around it. So now you're taking everything that I put into my home and like stealing it away from me. My home is at risk of sliding down that hill once you start building that. And I've been told, no, it won't do that. Well, what kind of guarantees can you give me? What kind of guarantees? If you start building that and my home starts slipping down the hill, who's going to pay for that? I'm going to pay for that. You're not thinking about the traffic. The Sixth Avenue is ridiculous with traffic. It's ridiculous. That is not the place to build something. You're taking money from the general fund that we can't even fund our police and our fire department. And we're taking this money and we're going to build this atrocity. They're all going to be packed down in there. That used to be an old mill pond that the water was fed off the hill. Everybody says, no, it'll be fine. It'll go into the storm drains. I live there. That water comes down and it floods. It floods my garage that is on the slope. So if it's flooding me on the slope, what's it going to do to the people down below? I'm frustrated right now, as you can hear in my voice. I can't believe that I'm not addressing my own city council. Where are they? Can somebody tell me? Where are they?
So this is a legislative process, and in the legislative process, it starts at the planning commission. That's the step in the Type 5 process.
So they just step aside.
No.
Jerry just steps
No.
aside.
No.
There's a process for land use, and this is the actual process for.
And I apologize if I sound so frustrated, but you all know my frustration. I've been up here time and time again about this whole deal. You're spending money you don't have on this project. And we as taxpayers are gonna come up footing that bill, and it's not fair to us. You didn't ask us.
We don't thank you for your testimony. And like I say, this is a stepping stone. It goes further, but we have to establish that all the criteria is taken care of prior to moving it up to city council. And that's the job here. And if it meets all the criteria, we have to vote on that and say yes or no. And then that will be moved into the big boys.
Okay, I'd just like to add one more thing. There's been very little transparency here. And the community is in the dark on what's going on. And the city council is not forthcoming with it.
I got a question.
And that makes the community very angry.
No.
Yes, sir.
No,
I can't ask, never mind.
thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you.
I didn't know we had to sign a sheet.
I didn't either.
So you could.
Come on up.
Can we come up?
Yep.
Yeah, come on up to the podium and
Mind if I-
your name and your address,
Absolutely.
serial number.
Not my first time to a podium.
My name is Wayne Ellsworth. My address is 355 South Calapooya, Sutherland, Oregon. People of the planning commission, staff, planning, people in the audience, thank you for listening to me today. Your team is tasked with a very hard decision. A decision that is multifaceted, underplanned and underfunded. This meeting is about a zone change. But what does this decision mean for Sutherland? This is an industrial zone. Sutherland is running out of industrial zones for potential new industry. We are talking about housing, the growing population of able-bodied working individuals that need stable housing in order to run our current industry. At what cost to Sutherland residents? We have already seen hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of development that has come out of taxpayer pockets. And we don't even know what it will cost to prepare this site for housing with years of industrial dumping. We don't have a clear, comprehensive plan, along with poor community education. Puts you folks on the planning commission on the hook for a recommendation without proper information. And please don't force Sutherland residents to pay for someone's plan. Let it be done appropriately, taking appropriate steps. I mean, this nice lady back here, and I am probably one of the best at putting the cart before the horse. I've been part of Sutherland plans. I've been working and volunteering in Sutherland since I got here in 2016. So when it comes to this planning, we don't even know if we can use this site. And I want to be perfectly clear, I am not against housing development in any means whatsoever. Because of course, having a housing survey that was done 20 years ago and not updated, that's negligent. The need has absolutely changed around here. They should have done a better job at that. But when it comes to development, I don't want to be the person to ever speak against actual development for housing. I've also talked to like other city council members, the mayor, about the potential development of other housing on the other side of town that people don't even know about. It just showed up in the paper and people were blown away by that. It makes me think that maybe we don't have all the information we need in order to make really good decisions. And if you guys make this decision today to put it up for city council, I am not sure that they would have the appropriate information to make that decision either. So that's what I got.
Thank you very much. Any other opposition, comments?
Yeah, we have one more.
Karen
Karen
Meyer,
Meyer?
okay, Sutherland, and I'm with the other
What's your address?
1826 Aspen Run Avenue,
Thank you.
okay. I don't know why you're considering a zone change when you don't have all the information. I just don't get that. I'm a taxpayer. I paid for this piece of property that you're going to make a zone change on or not make a zone change on. I don't want to pay my city taxes to build housing for someone else. Most of us can barely afford to pay our bills as it is without taking our tax money and doing that. And you don't know, as far as I'm know, you don't know if you can even build there. And the builder, who is Hayden Homes, if you look at their website and look at affordable housing, you will see they have a 10-plex listed on their plan. You will see that what they have for a 10-plex is a bunkhouse. It has bedrooms in it, sometimes with one bed, sometimes with two beds. It has bathrooms lined up on the hallway. They're not bathrooms per bedroom. It has a community kitchen. I'm not saying that's what they're gonna build. I'm saying that's, the city said, go look at the affordable housing at this website. And I did that, and that's what I see. And frankly, we have something in town now, and I'm afraid that this is going to add to that problem. And we have someone, not just on Sixth Avenue, but other places where military-aged men are coming into a 1,300 square foot house, 10 to 20 of them at a time. They're going somewhere in the morning and working, and then they're coming back home in the afternoon. And the police won't tell you anything about them. In 3 months, they're rotated out. Where are they going? I want to know where they're going. I want to know what's going on here in my city. And when I look at bunkhouses on this, I'm very worried that this is just an extension of that. And the city has been asked about it. They will do nothing about it. They give you stuff like, well, maybe they're all the same family. Well, we've got about 2,000 people now. They're all in the same family. So
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
You bet. Any neutral comments? Rebuttal by the applicant.
A couple of things that were brought up, one geologic stability, the other one drainage. First of all, the city has a geologic stability overlay that is applied to property where there's evidence of geologic instability. Plus, the engineering analysis that will be done as part of the development will work to control not only that, but also the drainage to be able to control that and meter it either through detention systems or into a storm drain system, which would be developed as part of that project ongoing. There was a mention about traffic. As I mentioned, we had professional analysis done on that. And the analysis was that the area system is sufficient. There will be, I'm sure, improvements done as part of the project. I don't know the scope of those, but I'm sure that the city's desire is to be sure that they're not creating a problem for themselves and for the occupants in the neighborhood. And so they'll, I'm sure, be good stewards of that. As far as the financial impacts on the community, although those concerns may be valid on the part of these individuals, it's not part of the criteria for review of the zone change. The criteria are very clearly outlined in the staff report, and so they can have that discussion with the city council as far as just overall management of the city resources and the development of the future. But other than that, there isn't much to be done on that particular account. I don't know that I have anything else to say. If you have questions regarding things that were mentioned that you would like us to address, we'd be glad to try and do that.
So I'm up short if my house starts sliding down the hill, is what you're saying. There's no guarantee. I'm sorry, I know I'm speaking out of turn, but I get no answers out of city council. What kind of guarantee do I get?
Thank you very much, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, very kind. This will close this part of the public hearing. Now we will go into deliberation and discuss it on this commission. Any questions?
I'm just talking about a zoning change and I have no comment on anything other than it's a zoning change. But
I have a question, when the zoning change takes place, I know that there are classifications within residential, for example, there's like a hillside or slope. Like, when does that determination get made?
So this is going to the multifamily, the R3. There is residential hillside cross West Six to the north, those northern properties. Right adjacent to this property, if you, the zoning map that I think
Yeah.
maybe you have, you could see those surrounding zones are a mix of some medium density, industrial, commercial, and then residential hillside on that hillside where the slopes are greater. Typically greater than 12% is where you see that residential hillside. And that's where the geotech, those geologic reports that are site specific come into play to ensure those soils and stability.
Does this area flood now? What we're talking about, the zone change?
Flood, it's not, we don't have floodplain inside the city. For our local wetlands inventory map that you saw, there is a small portion that indicates wetlands. But then that wetlands delineation will be done to either show it's not inundated or what we need to do build there.
The building locations are outside of that wetland.
That map.
That map, they're on the northern piece that's not actually included in the site development.
Are they gonna fill the pond in, or is it just gonna be left alone, that big one up there?
So the former log pond and the wigwam burners are the two sites that, they're fairly minimal impacts. Those are the two locations that, we've entered into the DEQ voluntary cleanup program. And so with that program that we've entered into, they're going to help identify what is needed to cap it to keep the terminology simple for myself, because obviously we're not the only staff that work on this, and we are working closely with DEQ as well as an environmental consultant in order to determine the safety, as if capping it, they have these certain rules and regulations of what you have to lay down before you can ultimately get to the asphalt. The locations ultimately would be under the roadways, not under a housing site.
Oh, yeah, I just wondered,
And
because
so-
the pond, that holds a lot of water. I mean, it does,
And it has a
water in
lot
it all.
of debris in it that I
It has
understand. And
water
so
in it all summer.
the geotech report, the technical engineer would identify what needs to take place for whether it's the removal, the fill, in order to make that stable ground.
I have a question. I was just curious. I know that we saw that the buildable lands inventory is from 2005, and so I just wanted to confirm. I know those plans can be good up for 20 years, but wanted to make sure we saw it was reflective of today's conditions.
Yes, so even with the, I wanna say recent, but granted it was 2019, the urban growth boundary expansion. And annexation, we are still actually deficient in buildable residential land.
Was there any additional comment from the Fair Housing Council working when they reached out?
No. No, we sent them the staff report when it was ready like they requested, and there was no comments back.
And then for the economic opportunities analysis, understanding it was also updated in 2005. Is there kind of a rationale or thought behind not updating it before pursuing the project?
That was in 2014.
It was updated or?
So it was 2014 when I was complete. And so a lot of the housing analysis, because the state was doing their own update, a lot of those studies were put on hold. And so that's what has delayed a lot of that.
Are there plans to do it once the housing study rules have been figured out at the state level?
Yeah, we ultimately try to continue because we work out of all of these plans. They're kind of what help guide us through. Similar to our Parks Master Plan that we're currently working on, they help guide us with what needs to, our priorities are. And so that will be one of those that we do definitely get updated.
Is there a timeline?
I don't have one yet, though.
Are there thoughts around kind of how the housing or the rezoning of this property kind of aligns with the city's kind of vision for the economic future of the city of Sutherland?
So in order to, we are heavily restricted on our urban growth boundary expansion ability due to the slopes, the hillsides around us, as well as the adjacent cities. So we're fairly restricted. And so in order to maximize or utilize the residential lands and maintain enough. So back in 2005, we were short on both the commercial and the residential, but we're heavy in the industrial. What some of these calculations also take into account is outside of our area. So between here and Roseburg, there's a lot of industrial sites and not necessarily the residential. The state typically protects those farm and forest lands. The ag lands, those are protected, and that's what will, where the development typically occurs inside the jurisdictions in order to maintain those lands surrounding us. So we still have plenty of industrial, and that's why this is compatible for our owners.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes.
If you look on the decision options, have you all read those? I'll need a motion. Yeah, right.
Chairman, I move we close deliberation.
I second.
I also move that the commission close the public hearing and deliberation and recommend option 1 to the city council with recommend approval to the city council.
I second the recommendation, moving forward with option 1. Commissioner Brock,
No.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Mock,
yes.
Commissioner Wilder,
No.
Commissioner Shaw,
Yes.
Chair Banducci,
Yes.
motion carries.
I'd like to move into the monthly activity report. Do we have any questions? on the monthly activity report.
Right at the top of the community development skills pond update, I'd like to know what's going on with the paving of that other parking lot and the boat ramp.
So right now, we're still working
Build
through
it
the-
in your fucking yard. Take everything you worked hard for and stick it down the fucking toilet.
I like my dad.
So the phase 3 is that, like you mentioned, the parking lot, the vaulted toilet and the boat dock ramp on the Highway 138 side of Forts
Yeah.
Pond. And so with that, we had received a grant to help support the wetland delineation mitigation. Just because we're also working in the waterways. So right now we have submitted through that process, we submitted the US Army Corps of Engineers joint application. And so we've entered into that, the agencies, because it involves all of the DEQ, NIMS, US Fish and Wildlife, pretty much all of these entities. And so they have the opportunity to comment. So that's where we are with that. I would anticipate I'm gonna say spring of 2026 is when I will work on that grant application for funds for the construction.
And I keep asking the same question, how we doing on the traffic light at Dakota Street?
Well, so know things don't happen quickly. It is still in the process. We're working through some of, ODOT is engineering the cost analysis for us, just kind of fine tuning those numbers in order to, then, and as well as creating that scope of work. And so with that, then we'll be able to go out for the request for proposals, to engineer it. So it's slow and steady.
And then, is there any follow-up with the development above Scardy as far as creating the detention ponds? So that we don't get the water runoff as we did this last spring?
So those are all going through their engineering. So they'll be developed per their engineers recommendations and for that scope that the engineers approved.
Okay, so there's been negative activity for probably 6 to 8 months up there. And like I said, we're getting ready to, I mean, whoever thought we'd get rain in August now. It was nice, but
It's happened lots of times over my lifetime.
I'm just concerned about last year we had a major storm come through. And the flooding was phenomenal. And there was a lot of runoff up there with no detention ponds developed. There, if you look at the site map, it shows that there's 2 supposed to be in the development process, and I'm just wondering. Like again, we're getting ready to get into a rainy season this fall, and I just don't wanna see muddy waters coming. For 2 reasons. One is that they run down the common areas of the Knowles Estates, and the second thing, it goes right into the golf course, and the DEQ gigs the golf course for unmanageable water running across the golf course, and you know, I'm a golfer and I'm concerned about that. They could take and create some fines and some penalties for the golf course, but yet the developer's not the one that's caused the problem.
Well, and you have to keep in mind, a lot of that runoff also comes from the highway. So they kind of have multiple directions of where that runoff comes from. However, in this development specifically, they will, those engineered plans that Jamie's just referring to, they are phased in as the development occurs. And so they will be building those detention ponds as that development takes place.
There's not a lot of water runs off of the highways up there. It's mostly off of the hillside that's been excavated and bare.
I will
I mean,
let you
I know,
think that.
I know, I live there and I got lots of pictures of it already, so. And it's not from the high, not from the Scardy or from Dovetail, so. It comes right down the hillside, across the road into the residential area, and then onto the golf course. It's a major concern of mine because we're ready for another rainy season.
Any other comment? Thank you, Don. Any other comments?